Hi everyone and welcome to the third episode of Breaking the Lines. It's funny that I say third because that's how many we are today, only 3. One of us has temporarily left to travel the world in seek of becoming a Norwegian ultra. If you think that the rest of us are saddos for being here during the holidays, we won't doubt you. One of them will have a smile on their face after finally getting back in the win column this weekend. How are you, Ed?
Yeah, all good, thanks mate. How are we doing, boys?
The other one never stops smiling to the extent where we wonder if he's actually sober. How are you doing, Ross?
Yes, everyone, goody morning, as Casemiro would say. It's been a great weekend, thanks.
5 things to run through today, sorry. Firstly, Liverpool and City both win. Will this be a 3-horse race? Who's in real danger of relegation? Thirdly, 2-2 draw at Forest. Fourth, Tottenham drop more points at home. And finally, we'll be running you through a Champions League preview with obviously some other talks on the other leagues. Let's have it. Finally a win in the league for Liverpool. Any thoughts there, Ed? You must be delighted.
Yeah, finally back to winning ways, especially after the talk last week where it was all doom and gloom. Feels good to have a win. I mean, saying that, we haven't been back since we lost in the Carabao Cup, which was, I mean, understandable considering the lineup we put out. Slot obviously prioritising the other leagues and cups. So, I mean, yeah, it was a good win against Villa and very much needed.
I think he went through a period of trial and error as well. 4 losses or whatever it was on the bounce wasn't great in any sense. It's good to be back to winning ways, but I think he's probably learnt a lot along the way going forward as well. Tactically, he knows where his defensive vulnerabilities lie now as well. And again, going forward, they know where their weaknesses lie there. It sounds obvious, but they weren't doing the basics right. So now I think he might have taken his team back to basics. I'd love to know what his thought process is right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at that lineup, and I think Liverpool fans will be ecstatic that, Gravenberch is back. I mean, what an important player he has obviously scored over the weekend. Salah scored as well, important maybe to shut a few haters and doubters there. How important was that win for the fans?
Yeah, massive. I mean, you mentioned Salah, 250 goals now for Liverpool. He's an absolute legend at the club, and I know people doubted him, and I don't blame them because he's not got off to a great start to the season, as have many of the other players. So, as I said, just a much needed win, and especially with important games coming up now, it's vital that we get back to winning ways. So we got Real Madrid tomorrow and Man City on the weekend, so it's a massive week.
Yeah,
massive week for the Reds.
What do you guys make of Conor Bradley? Obviously filling in for that Alexander Trent position. Are you satisfied with him? You're obviously looking at the scores here, 6.7. A lot of fans do doubt him. What do you make of him, Ross?
He's a very young lad. I know that's the most obvious thing in the room to say. I'll stop using the word obvious as well. But I think Slot's got to try these young players. I think the problem is, like we said last week, he's been left this squad that's robust, but it's going to have its time limit. And this is the problem where you look at other teams like United, they died off. They didn't have a forward-thinking attitude. They were stuck with the team that from 10 years ago and nothing had moved forward. And when the time came around, they just expired. There was no updated team. So I think Conor Bradley is going to be part of the future. It's a trailblazing. They've got to integrate him now to give the squad a chance. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but if they don't throw him in the deep end, then the squad in 2030 is going to be a mess, honestly.
Yeah, what do you make of him, Ed? Do you think is it weak link, in that team?
I wouldn't say weak link, but it's definitely a season. It's a huge season for him, for his Liverpool career. I mean, we signed Frimpong in the summer. He looked like he was going to be the number 1 right back. Obviously, he's had troubles with injuries, so it's massive for Conor Bradley to get a good run of games. And yeah, I thought he played okay on the weekend. It wasn't a standout game or anything, but as long as he's in and around the winning team.
Talking about that lineup, what do we do with Isak and Ekitike? Are you for playing both at the same time? We obviously saw that, if I'm not mistaken, the Champions League, he tried getting both in. Or you for maybe starting Ekitike based on his form since the beginning of the season, who arguably has only been, he's been the only signing out of all the signings they've made who has been playing at Liverpool's level, at the level they should have expected from these new signings? Or are you for playing them both, starting Ekitike, bringing Isak on? How do you manage those two at this point, if you're honest, Lot?
Yeah, I think it's a tough one because when Slot's tried to play both of them, it's usually Ekitike playing from the left, and I don't think that's his strongest position. I want to see him as a number 9, but then you have to switch up the system to fit them both in, or otherwise you have to take Gakpo out, who's had an okay start to the season, and obviously with more game time it'll improve as well. So it's a tough one. I think Slot wants to have an established system that he plays week in, week out, but if you wanted to play both your strikers, then yeah.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on Isaac, Ross?
I think these guys we're talking about now, even Isaac or Ekitike, both of them, they're a very good illustration of how the current game's changing physically. That maybe they're not the same player Haaland is, ability-wise, but they've got that style they've got presence, they've got a frame about them, they're able to bully people. I think the game's changing physically in that sense. And what I think I like is like this size is becoming a bit bigger. Obviously, we're playing football here. It's not MMA, they're not going to flipping throw people over the flipping railings. But it's, that's why we don't look for players who could throw people about, obviously. But I think Isak's come from Newcastle, where they've got that. I think they've got a similar style of play to Liverpool. He comes from an exciting system to watch, and he's kind of hunting those goals. He's just hunting goals. Hunting goals.
I'm a bit concerned about the centre-back partnership, to be honest, because obviously Van Dijk, for me, he's all credit to him. He is still a brilliant player to have in your team, but he is past his prime. I think we can all agree on that. I don't know how old he is. He must be on 34 now.
34, yeah.
34, yeah. I mean, he's not going to be there for another 3 years, and they'll be looking for replacements. Kanate, obviously, there was links with him leaving to PSG. I don't see him sticking around for much longer. And then if you look at who's plan B there, there is a problem in that. Have they anticipated the future centre-back partnership after having spent all that money?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. I mean, obviously, on the weekend, it was a clean sheet, but I've been concerned with Liverpool's defence when teams play direct against us, when they're lumping it up and the centre-backs aren't dealing with it properly. But for some reason, Villa decided to play out the back. The tactics went against that of how Liverpool have been beaten recently. So they played well, but they weren't really tested directly. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see with the centre-backs. Obviously, we signed Leone in the summer. He got injured, but when he made the cameo appearance against Southampton, he played really well, and I was excited by him. And then obviously you've got Mark Gahey, who we thought was going to sign for us on the last day of the deadline window. So, I mean, hopefully if we can get Gahey in, if he's still interested next summer, that would be perfect.
And how about Salah, Ross? What's your take on that? Obviously scoring here. I said he shushed a few haters during the intro. A lot of fans think, I was hearing a lot of Liverpool fans saying, when they're playing at Anfield, he has to play, but maybe on the other games, with the massive fixtures coming up, how do you deal with Salah? Is he like he has to start every game, or are you brave enough to bench him, or what do you do in Slot's
Same as Van Dijk, age is a factor now. Can't ignore it at all. It's good for his confidence to have this back, I think. But I think he needs to become that penalty merchant as well. He was again. He used to create those chances in the box, and I think it's slowly declining. There's something there, but he can prove me wrong. I'm not going to set that challenge to him, but I think he started to find his feet again at the weekend. Started. I'm not going to overstate that, but he started, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season for him. I don't think he's going to be up there for things like Golden Boot, but he's still a prolific striker in the Prem, and we probably do have 2 years left of him, I think.
What do you think, Alex? Do you think this is a start of a good run of form for Liverpool, or is it just a little good result in a bad patch?
Yeah, well, you know what? It has to be really when you see the next one of fixtures. I think that's when players will be mentally tested. Obviously, big run of games coming up. For me, Salah, if I would have dropped him these past few games, I think we don't want to have. I mentioned sort of the star problem we had at PSG once. We don't want that to become a problem with Salah. But, obviously, I'm not in Slot's shoes, so we'll see how it goes moving forward. I do believe Ekitike, though, has to start every game at the moment, I know that Isak will need time to adapt, but with the way he's taken it, even psychologically for a player, that they've signed you as a striker, you think you're going to play, and then they go and sign an even more expensive one. a lot of players mentally that would have affected them. He's just taken it on like a big boy and he's been playing well. I think he is one of Liverpool's standout players and he deserves to be starting week in, week out for the moment. And Isaac's got to fight back into the team, you know. But then again, you can't have two strikers with one playing 1 week and one the other. Liverpool has to have a club where you've got that solid number 9 up front, which has to be prolific week in, week out. But it will only be better for the club. Very briefly, are they still in the title race? Are Arsenal too far ahead? Where do you sit with Liverpool?
The thing we have with Liverpool is they are at that level where that you compare them to someone like Henry VIII. He's got. You look at the.
Was not expecting that.
You look at the peasantry on the pyramid below them. They can whip the bottom ones when they want to. They can whip them, and that's the thing. They can make a mockery of the whole league when they want to. But the problem is just they haven't got that fear factor right now.
Did you see that tweet from San Marino, who commented on one of their posts and said, you know, can we play you, please?
Yeah.
You know when San Marino are
Jesus.
tweeting you, it's getting that bad.
That's what I mean. I mean, the local men's pub team ain't going to want to take them on and go, let's take it to them. Come on, lads. You know, but, you know, they've probably got a left back who feels like bloody Bob Marley right now. But, you know, it's...
Yeah, no, I think... I mean... We're going to talk about City later on, but we're only 1 point behind them. And 1 point behind them, 7 points behind Arsenal. We're only 10 games into the league, so definitely a lot of room for optimism.
Yeah, let's move on to City now, obviously. Erling Haaland braced this weekend, 13 goals already this season. Thank God I got Salah out a few weeks back and got him onto my FPL because he is saving my world ranking where I'm currently sat. A very sad position of 2.3 mil. Absolutely abysmal.
It's a lot better than me.
Sorry, guys. Bournemouth defender Brooks, you know, he was saying there is literally nothing you can do to prepare against Erling Haaland. When he's playing like that, I think it's every team in the world that should be fearing him, right?
Yes, absolutely. Erling's back. Erling is back. And I think it's what we were saying before about that I was saying before about that physicality. He, on his day, he can make a defence just look incapable. And that's what I think Pep puts his trust in him to do. Just go out and... It's one of those plays you just say, go out and win us this game, honestly.
Yeah, that squad depth, by the way, is just
ridiculous.
mad. I think it's the first time so far this season that the whole squad is back. Rodri is back. He was back on the bench. Absolutely essential for that team. I can't remember the stats, but when he plays, they just don't lose. And when he doesn't play, that's when they start to drop points. That's how important he is. I mean, big ups to Ryan Cherky, 2 assists. The link-up play of Haaland this weekend was on fleek. The squad is all there. Rodri's back. You know, do you think they'll catch Arsenal? Do you think they're the main threat this season, Ed?
Yeah, I mean, we were saying last week that they're slowly creeping up. I mean, they didn't have a good start to the season, but now they've only lost 1 game in the last 12. They're in a great run of form. And yeah, with Haaland, as we were saying, he's just an absolute animal. That's 13 goals in the league now. And it's scary how quickly he's on for 100 goals in the Prem.
Yeah. Animal. I could say, have you ever watched Rocky IV? I compare it to someone like Ivan Drago. You know, this guy's representing a flipping country at this rate. Jesus, he's playing for Norway.
Yeah.
Unit.
Yeah, he's a class player. And as you said, Cherky as well, he's another player who didn't have the best start to the season, but now he's coming into the side and 2 assists.
I've got an unpopular opinion. I think Donnarumma's going to struggle down the road. We saw, you know, shadows of what happened at PSG. He was always very bad at corners, free kicks, defending him, and they did concede off a corner for arguably a mistake that Donnarumma did. I don't think he'll replace Ederson properly in that spot. I'm a bit shocked when he actually left. I mean, obviously you're going to bring Donnarumma in because he didn't get the contract extension he wanted at PSG. I think we did treat him badly there. I would have liked him to carry on rather than Chevalier, but you know, coming back to City, I do have fears with Donnarumma in net.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, obviously you're a PSG fan, so you've watched him a lot more than we have. Can he play up the back? Is that a myth, or what do you think?
I think his game with his feet is quite poor for a goalkeeper. On set pieces as well, that's where I was shitting myself every time I'd have a corner or something, especially in Champions League. There is something, he's got that psychological factor where he does easily get a bit annoyed, and I think that does see itself in its game. it's early days. We'll wait and see. You know, he might fit in well, but they had to jump on him anyway. They weren't going to let him go somewhere else on a fee. But
I think he's got more presence to him in a sense. Again, another history analogy weirdly today for you all. Have we ever all heard of Peter the Great? So this was a big towering czar of Russia back in the day, you know. And, you know, he was 6'7", but the people looked up to him. And Donnarumma's got this presence. He's not getting bullied on corners. And I think he's got that stature that can make it in the Prem. He's just, granted, he's not the best with his feet. But I think in the presence he brings confidence to the squad, and people know what he's capable of, and I think he can be a game winner in those games where teams do compete with City, and that's what gets you over the line sometimes.
If we can just get the standings up from the league, I'm going to say, I just want to stress a point here. How good, by the way, is the level this year in the Prem? Like, if you look, there's 3 points between the 11th and the 3rd. And I saw a funny rage bait tweet here. I just want to get your thoughts down to this. I saw this guy saying, he said, the level of the Premier League is the best right now in history. Haaland better than Henry. Isaac better than Rooney. Van Dijk better than Vidic. Alisson better than Cech. Salah better than Giggs. Rice better than Gerrard. I mean, he's having a laugh.
Yeah, that sounds like something Kieran would tweet that. But no, I mean, obviously there's the competition this year is ridiculous. I mean, even Bournemouth, they lost yesterday and they're still 4th.
Yeah.
So,
do you think, Ross, it's down to big teams underperforming, or has everyone just stepped up when you look at that table?
Well, for stars, I think this bloke sounds like he still orders Happy Meals for dinner, honestly. Like, does he want to toy with that comment or what? Like, yeah, the thing is, you can stand out in a poor team nowadays as well. But man for man, we grew up in a very biased, you know, all of us in this room grew up on Giggsy probably to an extent. And, you know, you do compare him to maybe his modern day, you know, modern day, you know, what would you call it? The same sort of player in the modern day. And you can't compare them because the game's changed as well. And back then, they were ahead of their era. But I think, yes, to answer the question, I think you can make it I think you can make it easier nowadays. I don't think it's as tough as it used to be.
Arsenal 2-0 win away at Burnley. Another set-piece goal. Another goal off corner. And here's my question is, everyone knows that's what's coming. That they always score first on corners, and yet no one can seem to defend them. Is that just pure masterclass from their set-piece coach, or are teams just not simply defending well enough against them?
Yeah, I mean, it's happening every game now. Another clean sheet as well, another set-piece goal. I mean, they just got it spot on. As much as I hate the set-piece coach, he's doing wonders for Arsenal, obviously. But yeah, I mean, it's not even something that you can blame the opposition for, because they're doing it to every single team. So, yeah, defensively solid again. I mean, we were talking about this last week. If you can't get a goal past them, then you're really struggling because they will score as well. So, yeah, just another massive win for Arsenal.
Yeah.
And I think, again, it comes down to what we said last week about the defence, Raya, Saliba, etc., Timber. That's just a wall right now. If you're lucky to score one, take that one goal and hold on to it, because you're not getting any more.
Yeah, well, that was the top of the table, but we're also going to have a look at the bottom. Who's in real danger of relegation? Stay with us. Right, Wolves lose again, and their manager is gone. Every team, that has had 2 points at this moment of the season in the history of the Prem has always gone down.
Yeah. Will
it be the same for Wolves this year?
110%. Bye Wolves, the least intimidating wolf you've ever seen. Actually, to be fair, if I meet that wolf in the mountain, I'm fancying my chances against that wolf. Honestly, honestly, I'm taking that wolf on. Yes, they're gone. I think if they can make it to mid 30 points now, then it'll be an impressive second half of the season. Fans turned on that manager in the later days, obviously, but quite frankly, what else could they have said? They care about their club. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I thought they were trying to keep Vitor Pereira for as long as possible, because he did sign a 6-year deal a couple of weeks ago. So I think the plan was to try and keep him for as long as, but at this point, he had to say goodbye, because 2 points from the opening 8 games is just not good enough. And even on Saturday after the game, he did say it was the worst performance he's seen as a manager. So it was coming. I think he lost the fans, and it's unfortunate for Wolves, but they're going to have to try and find a new
thoughts
coach.
on who could be stepping up to take the job at this point?
Who is it? It's a bit of a cycle now of managers. I'm not sure who would be a good replacement for them.
There's no big name, but I think when you're in a relegation scrap, everyone knows, let's scramble the big boys. Let's get Sam Allardyce in, It's like The Incredibles. Honey, where's my super suit? That sort of thing, It's like, it's all systems go, innit? Long gone are the days where you get Harry Redknapp in and he brings in Nico Kranjčar on a free. Like, come on, lads, let's sort this ship out, Long gone are those days. Now it's just a case of who's willing to take the disaster on.
I mean, it is a difficult job. They've downgraded literally in every possession. They haven't replaced quality with the quality of the players they've sold. I think this was predictable.
Yeah. I could, as we said, I could see it. I did like the manager. I mean, he used to go for a pint after every game. He had a bit of personality, but footballing wise, he did have to go. But we'll see. 10 games, is it too much of a stretch to say there's still a chance that they could stay up, or do we think they're certain for going down?
Could be the best in Prem history if they do, couldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, remember Leicester's famous escape, when was it? The year before we won the league, 2014, 2015, 7 games off towards the end, everyone had us down, and then we won something like 6 out of the last 7 and stayed up. Miracles do happen, but something's got to happen. I mean, some vital January signings, good change of coach. I mean, to be fair, I do think that there's quality in that squad. I don't think they're doomed for the Championship necessarily, but it's got to be one of the biggest turnarounds in history for them to stay up.
Yeah, I mean, they got Strand Larson up front, who's a good forward. I mean, he scored 14 goals in the Prem last season. But yeah, I'm not confident in them, to be honest. Don't know what you think.
Wasn't it you who said that is the slowest centre-back partner? Or was
that
West Ham?
was West Ham.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the problem with Wolves is as well, they've already played most of the teams that you would expect to be at the lower half of the table. I think they've got a tough run of fixtures coming up, and when you've already played teams like Leeds at home and lost that one, I mean, the vital games are ones that they've lost. So yeah, it is not looking good.
No.
Has Jesus Christ come back to life? Honestly, unless he stood outside the Molineux making miracles right now, they're gone. They're gone.
Yeah, they're gone. Yeah, fair enough. Finally, a win for West Ham. I watched that whole game. Their last home win, by the way, was against Leicester the season we went down. That's how long ago they hadn't won at home. What was the issue? Because I feel like they've got a side which is more than good enough to be playing mid-table. They shouldn't be 19th realistically, Are they in fears of going down?
Well, I remember you said last week, Alex, that West Ham are a team that you just can't imagine going down. You can't picture them in the Championship. And I agreed, but I also thought after our discussion last week that they were also doomed to going down. They couldn't pick up a win from anywhere. And when they went 1-0 down on the weekend, I was like, this is looking terrible. But they showed determination and came through with the win. So, yeah, it was a massive 3 points for them.
See that midfielder from the academy who was playing some Potts? He looks decent.
He came on last weekend and he was really sharp. But, yeah, he looks like a good player.
Maybe following in Mark Noble's shoes in the future. They do like a good number 6 from the academy up in West Ham.
If they go down, he's the future, though, isn't he? How many players can they hold on to? This is a survival mission for the club. You go down, that parachute payment's not going to protect a lot of them, is it? Jared Bowen, he could leave like that if he wants to keep his England reputation.
I mean, West Ham they're one of those clubs who I'm a bit harsh to say they've been a bit on a downfall since that European trophy win under David Moyes. They used to be much higher in the table going up. You'd expect them to be in that top 10. I remember I used to watch Spencer FC back in the day. Remember those Spencer Owen, big up, love him. Who always used to put him in like that top 6, top 7 position in his league positions. And if you did that today, that would be considered mad. What are your expectations today if you're a West Ham fan?
Yeah, I mean, immediately it's survival, but going back to what you said, after they won the the Conference League, I thought the West Ham fans were always looking for a step up. I mean, they got the European trophy, but potentially the brand of football wasn't as exciting under Moyes. So, yeah, they tried to get managers to come in and play a different style of football. Obviously, that's not worked. So, going back to a manager like Nuno, who plays a similar way to what David Moyes does, the immediate thing is just try and stay up the season and then hopefully kick on for the future.
Yeah, how about Sean Dyche, Ross, with Forest? Do you think he'll do enough to keep them up? If you look at the league table there, Forest, they're sat 18th, I believe. Yeah, 19th, another loss on the weekend. Any concerns for Forest fans?
It has a chance. Again, he's just used to dealing with teams in that neck of the woods. You don't know if this could be mission number one for him. It could be mission impossible for him. It's just a case of what sort of mission he's on. If he puts it all in, I think he'll get out of it. But it could just be another cruise job for him. At the end of the day, it's a job for him, isn't it? It's a job. He's getting paid. We just got to see how much he cares and how much he's willing to put into this, I guess. But yeah, I think he can get them out of it. I have faith in him. Just going back to the West Ham thing quickly as well. Like, I really want to see more from West Ham. I demand to see more from them. They're a big club and they just can't go down like this without a fight, honestly. Yeah,
I mean, when we're looking at the table there, we're maybe not expecting all three promoted teams to go down. You know, I doubt Sunderland will, in the position they are, you know, being that high up. They've still got to play tonight. They could go back up to second, by the way, with a win. That would be a massive flop if they did end up going down. Obviously, it's early days. But what about, like, say, Scott Parker and Burnley? People expected them to be rock bottom as well. You know, he's done a decent enough job. Anthony's stepped up well, one of the star players of the season so far. I mean, how about Leeds as well? Like, what about those two?
Yeah, exactly. I think with the promoted sides, you've seen a lot of difference this year, because Burnley in particular, when they come up in previous seasons, they seem to get battered. Or there's certainly games where they just get battered, but under Scott Parker, they're not really seeming to get turned over that much. I mean, Arsenal, that was a 2-0 win, but it wasn't comfortable by any means. Liverpool had to score a last-minute penalty. So yeah, Scott Parker, he's known for being defensively solid, especially after his season in the Championship. So yeah, they can definitely be hopeful to stay up the season, but it's definitely going to be tight.
Anything to add on there, Ross?
I think we look at Leeds. Have you ever heard the old line like Leeds are falling apart again?
Yeah.
The problem is they've got nothing to fall apart from right now. They haven't had a good start, and if they do continue the trend of Leeds falling apart, then I don't know. They could be in a bad place come April. Like, let's just see how that goes for them. Wishing them all the best, but I don't think they've got a platform to have any success right now. I think they're going down. I really do. Yeah, really do.
True. Little question here. True or false? There has already been a year when all three promoted teams didn't go straight back down. True or false?
True.
Yeah, do you know what year it is true? Do you know when was the last time that the three teams that went up stayed in the league?
Oh, that's a good one. Last time.
I'll give you a credit. It's not too long ago.
I'm going to say
21.
Just after the 22-23 season,
right.
sorry. Fulham, Bournemouth and Forest all came up and all stayed in the league that year.
Look at them now, though. Like, they had forward-thinking attitudes, didn't they?
Yeah.
Look at them.
Yeah.
Look at your guys now.
Right, anyway, let's move on. A 2-2 draw at Forest. Let's have it. Right, any takes there, guys? 2-2 at Forest. I mean, who can leave with regrets there? Forest, after coming back, a minute 49, they turned the game around, or United, will they be happy, taking a point?
I think, firstly, that United fans leaving with their regret. He's not having a haircut, isn't he? Yeah.
He's got to change that, by the way.
He's
got to do, not 5 wins in a row. I think it should just be 5 games, unbeaten at this
I think
point.
He's just got to stick with the original one. I think they'd be uproar if he ended up cutting his hair for not 5 wins in a row.
Fair enough, yeah. Now, any takes on that game?
Yeah, I thought it was a great game, to be honest. Both sides played well in spells. Obviously, the controversy was with the United goal from the corner. Was it a corner? I don't think it was. The linesman calling it for a corner when he's on the opposite side of the pitch, it's not great. But I saw Sean Dyche complaining about that, and I thought, fair enough, you can disagree with the decision, but they still conceded from the set piece. I mean, they had the chance to head it clear, and obviously they didn't. But for United, I know it's not 5 wins in a row, but they can definitely take a point away at Forest. It's not an easy ground to go to. So yeah, I think all in all, United can be pretty satisfied with the point.
Yeah, big up to Anderson. He won back possession in the midfield third 11 times in that game alone. That is a record by any player in a single Premier League game this season. He's heading to the World Cup.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's the sort of battle you need in a World Cup, isn't it? Someone who's willing to win the ball in the middle of the park and fight.
He's going to get picked up by God knows who next season. Yeah, he won't be at Forest next year. I doubt it. So obviously it took Forest 1 minute and 49 seconds, to completely turn the game around. Does that show how vulnerable United can still be at times, Ross?
Yeah, United are not the complete package in any way. The fans can get excited all they want. No offence to anyone, they're just not there yet. Objectively looking at it, subjectively, yes. Objectively, no. They've got the weaknesses at the back. It's no specific player individual, but you look at people like Lenny Yoro, someone like that. They're still young, quite average players. We haven't got any world beaters in that side. Yes, Diallo went and got that winner, up top for us. That's great, but at the end of the day, if we were going to go on and win a league like that, you have to be cleaning up in that game. You can't just be taking that draw for granted and shaking hands on it. It's not a winning attitude.
Do you share the same concerns, Ed?
Yeah, no, I'd agree with Ross, especially when you talk about inexperience potentially. I mean, they're good players, but they are very young. I think if you see with Diallo, he's such a good player that he needs to be in the squad, but he can't play ahead of Mbeumo, so he's forced to go into the wing back position. And for the first goal, he's at fault for leaving the man at the back post and not winning the header. But then you see his qualities at the other end when he's scoring a screamer like that. So it's about getting the balance right. And there's a lot of inexperience, but also at the same time, they've got a decent run of form and something they can build on.
Yeah, I feel like... sorry.
No, unbeaten in 4. That's fantastic. Fantastic, honestly. I couldn't be happier. Let's just see if they can... Let's look at Champions League. Let's look at it. Let's consider it. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah. I feel like, Cunha and Mbeumo have adapted well, but my concerns on Benjamin Sesko. I mean, should we be worried at this point with him? I mean, how long... I was thinking about this last night. How long has it been since we've had a prolific goal scorer up top for United?
Yeah, it's too long. Too long for a team of United's stature. So
I mean, they had Højlund, that went wrong.
Yeah.
Sesko this year, that went wrong. I mean, on this way, they're going to be bringing every fucking striker from every one of the leagues, and they'll just be ruining their careers at this point.
Yeah.
The worst thing is, if you look at Højlund, is it a United problem? Because you look at Højlund, came in, arguably flopped, went back to Serie A. He's whipping it up right now. I mean, I bet anything, if Sesko left that club tomorrow, he'd be whipping it up somewhere else as well. I mean, what is the issue with strikers at United?
End of careers. Latam was probably the best they've had since flipping Højlund, honestly.
What was that, 10 years ago? Almost?
Yeah. And that was the end of his career, You just can't... The problem is, they're not a big player anymore. They can't invite the big players to come and play for them because they haven't got that authority in the footballing world anymore. They're not the big club they once were, and they can't make those demands anymore. It sounds harsh, but if you're a world-leading player, you've got options, and Man United aren't one of them anymore. You've just got to kind of accept that the more average players are your realistic targets right now, I think. You guys might say no, but...
Well, I would argue, to be fair, I think in the past, 10, 15 years, I want to say striker has become a less important position. That would be mad. But I do feel like we've got less prolific strikers. If you look across the whole globe, all the big names, Harry Kane, Mbappe, these are in some of the best clubs in the world. There's not that many strikers who are being consistent in the top 5 leagues, who United could potentially look at and say, oh, you know what, I'll bring him in. I mean,
yeah, no, I fully agree with that. I think in the summer you saw there was a bit of a scramble for strikers across the top 5 leagues. There's not that. I mean, you look 15 years ago, most big teams had 2 or 3 top strikers, and now the game's changed. So yeah, United settled for Sesko. They paid 70-80 million for him, but he needs to start scoring goals. I mean, he's got a few already, but to properly kick on and set himself as the number 9 for United, he needs to get a few more.
Yeah, glory Man United, 100%. we want to have the good days back. No offence to the club, said it's still, thanks to the Glazers, a great business, but the football club started to die a bit, and they just want to have that Man United are back in town sort of attitude again. We just want that. That'll be brilliant. Happy days. Anyway, wishing us all the best for the future.
Definitely not.
Right, let's move up to North London. Tottenham dropped more points at home against their Black Cat in Chelsea. Well, let's kick it off with a stat here. Chelsea, they have won 6 in their last 7 outings at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And what's even more crazy is they've only lost 1 of their last 18 altogether against them.
Yeah, crazy. I saw Malo Gusto posting on Instagram saying home sweet home at Tottenham's ground. So yeah, they'd love going there. I was really disappointed with Tottenham though, to be honest. I had high hopes for them. I mean, last week we were talking about how well they were playing and they can kick on this season, but last week was really disappointing. I mean, I'm not one for the XG stats, but it was 0.1 at home against your rivals. Yeah. It's not good enough.
They're not good at home. Away, they've been decent. At home, it's really weird, really. In that stadium, you know, they've got an excellent ground. You know, you could argue very good atmosphere as well, and they're playing better away than at home.
Yeah, great ground. Same shame about the club, but sorry, I made myself laugh then. They between them and Man United in the Europa League final last year, I think we have to look at it and go, out of those two, they were both struggling at the time. And to be fair to United, I think they've come on more leaps and bounds than Spurs. Spurs are still stuck in that same position. They're getting some points, but they just haven't improved too much. What do you think?
I would have to disagree with that. Sorry, Ross. I think, I mean, as I said, it was really disappointing on the weekend, but since they got rid of Ange and got Frank in, I mean, as you said, they've got the best away record in the league. 4 wins, 1 draw, no losses so far. So there's definitely improvements. And, I mean, you see what Ange did with Forest. I don't know if he would have done that well with the second season at Tottenham. So, I mean, as I say, it was disappointing for them. And then what was striking as well is after the game, I don't know if you saw it, Jed Spence and Van der Ven walked off the pitch without shaking hands with Frank. So
I saw that and I looked into it and I was listening to Alan Shearer and Ashley Williams on BBC Sport, you know, who was saying that, you know, when you lose a derby, you don't want to listen to your manager saying, right guys, come on, let's go in a little circle, hold our hands around the stadium, clapping the fans. No, you know, they said, and I quote, you're gutted, you haven't played well, you just want to get back into the dressing room and have a long look at yourself. You know, you don't want to be clapping around the stadium, fucking signing 4-year-old shirts or, you know, God knows what. It is maybe an understandable reaction, but I think it's the way we interpret things. When you see that the first time around, it's just like they've banged down shat on the manager when I don't think it is like that.
I don't think that, I agree with you. There doesn't need to be an overreaction, but at the same time, you can't just shake your manager's hand and get on with it. And then it also, by not doing that, it creates a bigger story and maybe more pressure. So, I don't
for us to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so thank you. But no, I think, especially with Jed Spence and Van der Ven, particularly those two are the players at fault for the first goal.
Absolutely.
It's a bit hypocritical. So, I wasn't a big fan of it, but at the same time, it's maybe not a big of a talking point.
But to be fair, I do a bit disagree with Ross too. You know, if I was Spurs at the beginning of the season, new change of manager, obviously it could have gone awfully wrong. Thomas Frank, I do really rate Thomas Frank, but Spurs being Spurs and the club being the way it is run, it could have been worse. If you told me at this point of the season would have the best away form in the league, sat 5th, I would have probably taken that as a Spurs point at this point.
It's good football as well. It's not
definitely.
Football, so. I mean, apart from, as again, keep on going back to it, apart from the weekend, they're playing good football. Defensively, they seem okay, and going forward, they're scoring a lot of goals. So,
I'll keep it PG, but you've got to
don't.
You need that bit of fear factor from the manager. I think you look at the old Neil Warnock back in the days. Everyone knows it. You know, I'll keep it PG, but you've got to die to get 3 points. You know, you've got to die to get 3 points. Yeah. And again, Fergie and the hairdryer. These guys, like the best managers, they bring the best out of the players when they can take it to the players and show who's in charge. This is not a day walk out in the park. You're going to war, as Roy Keane used to say. You know, it's why you're all smiling and being friends. You know, you're there to win. You know?
So, do you not think Thomas Frank can do that with the players? Or?
No.
Okay.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah. No, I'll take. I can't give a justification. That sounds.
If we can get the lineup there for that game, there were 2 players where I was a bit concerned with. One which has disappointed me a little bit is Kolo Muani up front. Obviously, still with us at PSG. He's been sent on loan. He had an excellent loan spell. Was it at Juventus when he was loaned out? And then obviously got sent to Spurs for a second loan. He's not really found his mark. You know, obviously they're kind of switching with Richarlison and him. Xavi Simons as well is a player where another PSG lad who I'm a bit disappointed with. He just seems to lack a bit of gut really in the last third. Bit disappointed there. But overall, you look at the squad. The quality's there. I do really rate Pedro Porro as one of the best fullbacks in the league. Do what you want with it. I don't think Kevin Danso's done too badly since he's moved in. Van der Ven is decent. Paulinho's at Bayern, great. Bentancur. Kudus, arguably the best player of the season so far for Spurs, maybe. I don't really have concerns for Tottenham moving forward. It's just what are the expectations at this rate. They've got to be finishing in the top 6. I think they'd take that.
Yeah, I mean, I think they kind of got to finish in the top 6 this season. That would be successful. But I mean, you're just looking at the lineup here from the game, going back to it. Started with Bergvall and Sarr, Paulinho and Bentancur. It was a very defensive lineup. I know Bergvall came off in like 7 minutes, but you would hope they'd go more attacking, especially at home when they got players like Xavi Simons, who I know he didn't play that well, but at least bring them on.
What analogy I compare it to is, so at Spurs' ground, they've got the pints that fill up from the bottom, haven't they? You plop it on and then, fills up. ASMR for you guys at home. But that's what Spurs are looking at now, is the only way's up, and they're going to fill up from the bottom upwards. They're just slowly going to rise and rise and rise. They'll be back one day. Spurs are a huge club.
I love that analogy. Right?
Big shot, big.
Very good analogy that is. Yeah.
What would you call them? The Hotspurians nowadays? I don't know. I can't remember what you call them.
Yeah, if you look at Chelsea, Caicedo, what a player. I mean, we're not even talking about one of the best CDMs in the league at this point. We're talking about one of the best CDMs in the world. I can see moving on to like a Real Madrid or a Barca in the next few years. I do rate him. I think he is that good. My concern, however, for the over billion spent is centre-back and goalkeeper. Robert Sanchez, we can say what he wants. I think a club like Chelsea needs a 10 out of 10 keeper. I do have a bit of fears with Sanchez, kind of similar to Donnarumma at City. And you look at centre-back, I mean, Fofana, Chalobah, they haven't found the magic yet in centre-back, and I think a club that big does deserve a solid centre-back, and I think that's where the weakness lies.
Yeah, I would 100% agree. I mean, first of all, the keeper, he's so inconsistent. Sometimes he'll have an average game, sometimes he'll have a great game, and then sometimes he'll make an absolute howler, so they need to get that position sorted. I know they got rid of Petrovic, who's now playing at Bournemouth, doing well, and then it's the same with the centre-back situation. They're getting rid of players, especially from the academy, and you look at Gay, what they do to have him back in the team now. I mean, I know they've got Colwill out injured for the season, so that's when he's back, he'll slot right in. And
fair play to Reece James, for stepping up. He was fighting with Gusto for that right back position. Now Gusto's been pushed towards CDM. Reece James is in there. Are we expecting a call up from Thomas Tuchel this summer?
I mean, I think he's got to start for me.
Yeah, straight up, he's going to start. Yeah, he's got to start, I think. Again, you look domestically though as well. You were always going to struggle at Chelsea. When JT26 leaves, it's a big hole to fill, and someone's not going to fill that for probably decades, are they?
Well, let me send a message to Joao Pedro, by the way. What have I done to you, lad? I have loved you. I have held on to you for so many weeks in FPL, and the week I sell you, you go and score one. I mean, you could have had a hat-trick arguably in that game. I mean, that is the definition of FPL. I've been patient. Everyone kept on telling me, let him go. I held on. And when I sell you, you go and break my heart. I mean, I'm gutted.
I hate it. I hate FPL now. I mean, as long as I'm not bottom, that's all I care about. I'm not... Every time I take a player out, the same as you, they go and play like R9. So it's just,
mad times. Right, should we jump in maybe to the Champions League preview and the other league talks as well? We do talk about everything here at Breaking the Lines. Stay tuned. I want to just focus on the Championship first. I know we mentioned it last week, a lot of the teams, if we can, do you think we can just get the Championship table up here, please?
Yeah.
I was looking at, obviously following this weekend, Ross, you and our teams, respectfully, Leicester and Wrexham, 17 points. We shouldn't be down. We shouldn't be down there with the likes of Wrexham, but never mind. It is what it is, really. No offence. I mean, if you look at that Championship table, what surprises me is obviously we've got Frank Lampard, who's doing bits at Coventry. I don't think anyone saw that coming. Absolutely mad. They look like they're going for like a 90 pointer this season. Early days, but we'll see what happens. But a lot of the teams that usually do well and who are usually fighting at the top aren't. So if you just look at Leicester 14th, who was it again? Your Derby is up there. Sheffield United, I mean, surely in the betting odds, they should have been up there for going back up. They're sat at what bottom. I mean, a weird championship this year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very weird, especially if you look at the two Sheffield clubs. I mean, last season they were both up in the top half of the league. Now they're fighting relegation. I mean, Sheffield Wednesday obviously with the points deduction, but yeah, I agree with what you said. You would expect Leicester to be up there challenging, and we are only early into the season, but it's looking like a different championship table this campaign.
Don't rule out Sheffield Wednesday causing problems for other teams, though. They have fight. They score in most games, I believe. It's just a case of they lose. That's it. They just lose. They're not lacking fight in any way. Frank Lampard could turn up to Hillsborough with Coventry and get turned over. It's a dangerous place to go still. They're gone. Don't get me wrong. They are gone. But it's a dangerous place to go.
I'm gutted I'm going to carry on the propaganda every week about Millwall. By the way, conceded in the 96th minute. They were taking away the away win and then conceded. I'm gutted, but still in the top four. I'm still praying for. I want to see. I won't die peacefully in my coffin without having seen a full season of Millwall in the Prem. I want the mayhem. I want the away ends at the Den, and I think that's what we're missing. In the Prem. God, if West Ham's got to go down for Millwall to go up, you know what? Sorry, West Ham fans, I'm taking any day of the week.
I think we've got to try and get Alex to a Millwall game this season. That's the goal of the goal of the podcast.
I'd love to go to the Den. I would. I mean, yeah, it'd be. I'd fit in nicely probably there. No, I'm joking.
As Ben Foster says, come on the boys.
Yeah, let's go. Now moving back to the Champions League preview. Obviously, the main one that comes to mind is the Liverpool-Madrid Trent reunion. And I'm just going to put that out there, yeah, and I'm sorry for those listening from Liverpool, but I don't really get the hatred for Trent. I do think it's a bit forced. Like, I do get the whole rap thing about him, kind of anticipating a move, but I don't get why, you, Ed, as a Liverpool fan, why do you justify this much hate towards him? What is the actual issue? Was it the fact that he left the club on a fee where he could have at least gone and got your money for himself? Was it the fact that he was learning Spanish before he left? He was anticipating the move? Yeah. What was it really?
To be fair, I'm more on this side of, I wouldn't say hate. I'm obviously disappointed, but obviously there's a lot of Liverpool fans who hate him now. I wouldn't go as far to say that I agree with that, but I think it's just the fact that Liverpool are one of the best teams in Europe at the minute. If you're looking from his position, why would you not want to just stick at your boyhood club? The fans adore you. You could stay and be an absolute legend. I mean, he was already on track to being one. And then, to Real Madrid. I know they're not rivals as in geographically, but, I mean, European competitions, I mean, the history that we have against them, you just thought, just stay at the club. I mean, I'm not sure about the reception he's going to get.
If he doesn't want to, long gone are the days where you get players like Francesco Totti who would spend obviously it's very nice to have a player spend his whole career at the club, get that statue in front of the stadium, take what you will from it, but I do. If he wants to move on, it's not like he's gone off to Tottenham or Chelsea. When Real Madrid come knocking at the door for any player, arguably you would have two thinks about it. And he did win a lot for you. He did help you a lot. So I would have just looked back on the good memories rather than all this hatred. I feel like it is a bit forced. Some 10, 12-year-olds. I mean, no offense for the adults who hate him, but you disagree, Ross?
Yeah. Yeah, when Real Madrid come knocking, it's all about whoosh, isn't it? Jokes aside, you've got to be respectful to Madrid, one of the best teams in the world, obviously. Who wouldn't go there if you're a young or old player?
Are you still listening to Hala Madrid in the shower, Ross? Or?
He's on Hala Madrid. No, I'm not going to sing the whole thing.
Fun, by the way, this, yeah.
That's for episode 4. I don't even know Spanish, but, like we say, we move. No, but when Real Madrid come knocking, I think every club just respects see you later to most players. They do.
To be fair, Kim Bembe, who's obviously left PSG, love you, personal, came out yesterday and said, I'd rather win 1 Champions League with my hometown club than 5 with Real Madrid.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's where the frustration comes for Trent Alexander-Arnold. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's one of the best, probably the best right back we've ever had at the club, and he's won so many things for us. So I get culture-wise wanting to live in somewhere like Madrid is, I mean, it's hard to turn down, but at the same time, you would hope and try and expect one of your own to stay at the club for as long as possible.
Yeah. Are there any other games you had in mind there, lads, you're particularly looking forward to that you maybe got an eye on?
Yeah, I can't wait for the PSG Bayern. tomorrow. That is going to be some game.
Yeah, I mean, we were thinking about it. I mean, shall we go to France? Should we go to that game? I hesitated myself. It's always a massive game against Bayern. They are arguably one of our black cats from this past few years. I mean, I may get this one, but I think we did beat them in one of the last 2 or 3 outings. But generally speaking, they do give us a hard time. But at home, yeah, this is going to be an absolute huge game. I'm very excited to see the team we're going to be putting up against them. Obviously, Harry Kane is in the form of his life right now. Quick side debate, you know, I mentioned last week, you know, should he maybe go back to Spurs? That was me. Some part of me thought, you know, he might want to come back. When I think about it again, there's no chance. He's playing the football of his life at Tottenham right now. I don't think he has any really reason to go back unless it's, you know, if Tottenham suddenly bottom side of the table and he thinks, I've got to help them out. But even that, I don't think so. You know, I saw rumours about him maybe even thinking about switching up to like Barcelona next year or something. I wouldn't even be surprised. He's that good. I mean, he's going to take England all the way and win it this year. I can sense it, guys. We're going to take it home this year.
Yeah. Go on, Ross.
I think he will never come back to Spurs. It's like asking the toll taker at the Golden Gate Bridge if he wants to become CEO of Microsoft. Why would you go back? Unless you really enjoy the views and just want to let things pass you by, go for it. But unfortunately, I think it's a waste. It's probably, he's winning stuff. Why would he? Yeah,
I mean, I think he's loving life at Bayern. I mean, you look at where he's playing. He picks up the ball from the edge of his own box, plays a 50-yard pass, and then goes and finishes off at the other end. I mean, I think the football that he's playing and where he wants to play, he's suited perfect to Bayern. And I mean, you look at Bayern, 15 wins in a row now. It's crazy. Yeah. So, are you feeling confident for tomorrow?
I'm never confident with Bayern at home, mate. They're just one of those clubs, you know, on their best day, they'll get anyone a beating, including us. I do think, I haven't seen the odds for the game, but I do think people are probably expecting us to turn up and win. I would take a draw from that game, honestly. I would, especially considering we're mixing it up right now with the youth as well. I mean, we'll get to a point where we can't be playing, you know, Mayulu and all these young players against such experienced sides. That will come back to bite us at some point. But then again, I mean, Luis Enrique's got a massive sack of balls on him. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he got from other fucking 2 youngsters up in the starting 11 against Bayern. That is how he is. But yeah,
size 5s.
3.5s, mate. Even we'll go there.
What I will say finally though is we have the Allianz Bayern, like one of the best grounds in Europe. Surely, I just love it. I just remember player scores, they get that crowd involved.
Is there something about? I have a bit of a myth with Bayern. There is something just which kind of scares me whenever I see the badge. The badge itself, just there's something scary. I mean, it's not there's nothing wow about it, but it does scare the shit out. If I was a player, the Bayern badge, the stadium, the fans, the team, they're just one of those clubs where I'd think to myself, shit, you know, it's Bayern next week.
They're proper European club, aren't they? The only thing I hate with Bayern is they play that stupid song after every time they score the goal. Don't know if you've heard it. Every time they score a goal, it's like a silly song.
What stresses me is the guy who does the microphone in the stadium. I don't want to tell us what it makes me think of, but it does feel like we are back in like World War II times, Berlin.
Thomas,
I should tighter. Yeah, scary times that is, but
respect to everyone out there. They do a great job in the ground. Great job.
Another one maybe. Yeah, I've got City, Dortmund in front of me there. You know, Dortmund, who on a 4-in-a-row winning streak. That will be an interesting one. Always goals in games like that. I know if you had to bet something, you'd be putting like plus 2.5 goals in that game. Newcastle against the Athletic Club as well. That's a good one for Newcastle. Aren't doing too bad this season in the Champions League either. I think they'll be happy. And of course Marseille. Yeah, well, we hope they get better. Anyway,
yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, for the City game, Haaland's playing against his former club. We'll see how he gets on there. I mean, we're talking about big European clubs and the fans. City definitely is not one of them. I mean, you saw they were beating Bournemouth. Fans are leaving early. That would never happen at Bayern, so we'll see them leaving the Etihad.
Yeah.
Are they filling that ground nowadays?
Potentially, I don't know. I mean, not the best.
It's actually subject, I know. I'll never go into it as a United fan.
I feel like you can get tickets I might be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you can get tickets fairly easily for the Etihad. Like, say if you wanted to go and see Liverpool, that would be like, fighting through the World War trenches. Like, I feel like the Etihad, you can easily get spots, which kind of says a lot at this moment.
I think we could take the entire country of Azerbaijan to that stadium and still have seats to spare, honestly.
We were saying trying to get to a Millwall game, we'll try and get to a City game as well. Try and get a couple in the season.
Yeah, no, we'll have to tick them off, definitely. Yeah, anything else you want to touch on there?
Shout out to Kieran in Norway.
Yes,
he turned me over with Cardiff. Respect. Wrexham played awfully last week in the cup clash, but
there should have been a forfeit for it or something.
I know. I may tweet my words, and I apologise on camera. This is a message to Kieran. I'm sorry.
And we will touch on the first and only comment we did get on our last one. We are wondering who is the gay one between them as well. Maybe the one who's not here.
Yeah, exactly. He can't defend himself, so we'll put it on Kieran. I mean, one comment. It's a hate comment first.
Keep the comments PG, guys. We want to appeal to all communities.
No, don't.
Anyway, guys, that's it. Thanks for us. Thanks for being in here with us today. Great to have you as usual.
Hala Madrid. See you later.
And Ed, always the same, mate. Yeah.
Cheers, boys. Hopefully Liverpool get the win tomorrow night.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to us. We'll be with you next week, Monday, or mind you, maybe Thursday for the Prem, to look up on the Prem matches before the weekend. So yeah, we'll keep you updated with that. And thanks for listening to us, guys.